ultimately, what we hear a lot from the customers is the overall experience is probably the most simplest thing that they've ever encountered when it comes to the fire industry as far as making a truck purchase or anything of that nature.
Stay tuned. Coming up in this episode is my interview with Midwest Fire Vice President and General Manager Brett Jensen, talking about their amazing culture and other things that separate Midwest Fire from their competitors. Midwest Fire has been our show sponsor for 5 years.
At Midwest Fire's booth here at Fire Expo, or Firehouse Expo, and I've got John here with me. Can you tell us where you're representing today?
Representing Tipton County Fire Department. We're about 10 miles north of Memphis in Tennessee, West Tennessee.
Great. So which apparatus do you have with Midwest Fire?
I have this one behind us. It's a Freightliner, four-door cab pumper tanker.
Perfect. Was that your first purchase with Midwest
Fire? It is
for
Tipton County, yes.
All right. So what made you decide to choose Midwest Fire?
I actually went out and looked at several, and to be honest with you, one of the salesmen I was in contact with was a great resource. We actually put it out for a bid. Price came back great. Product was great. We also have one more in the county with another department, which did assist with the situation because we could go look at theirs and come and look at ours. Quality and price, by all means.
All right, so you mentioned you went and looked at a apparatus. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, it's located in our county. It's with Covington Fire Department. They basically have one almost identical. We did some changes, obviously different to be different, but they have one of these 2,000-gallon pumper tankers as well. We liked it strictly because it had the poly body on it, which is a lot more durable and lighter weighted than a steel body, but that did assist with our decision making.
Would you look at purchasing again with Midwest Fire?
Absolutely. We're actually looking at buying a quick attack, and so I've already got the specs written in the quote, so it should be the next truck we purchase for the next month.
Awesome. Well, we're glad that you're satisfied with this.
Hello and welcome to episode 299 of the Situational Awareness Matters show. I am your host, Rich Gasaway. The purpose of this program is to help to improve situational awareness and high-risk decision-making for individuals and teams who work in high-stress, high-consequence, time-compressed environments with changing conditions. The SAMatters mission is simple. We want to help the members of your team see the bad things coming in time to prevent bad outcomes. I'm coming to you today from my office in St. Paul, Minnesota. Having been off the road now for a week, I'm driving my wife crazy. I don't go back to work until after New Year's. So she's in for a long stretch of insanity. Today's feature segment is brought to you by SimsUshare. SimsUshare is a simple and affordable way to help you develop and practice situational awareness skills. You can quickly build sims from your photos to simulate almost any kind of incident, including active threat scenarios. And the new SimsUshare Command Training Center now lets you conduct multi-company drills over the internet, so you can even train your companies while they stay in station. Check them out at simsushare.com. All right, let's jump into today's feature segment, my interview with Midwest Fire Vice President and General Manager Brett Jensen, talking about their amazing culture and other things that separate Midwest Fire from their competitors. Hey everyone, Rich Gasaway here from Situational Awareness Matters. This is the SAMatters show that is broadcasted on podcast players on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, and Google Play, and then also on YouTube. And today I have with me Brett Jensen, who is the Vice President and General Manager at Midwest Fire. Midwest Fire is the sponsor of the Situational Awareness Matters show and has been for almost 5 years now. And I love the partnership that we have with Midwest Fire and their commitment to keeping firefighters safe. So, Brett, welcome to the show.
Hey, Rich, how you doing today?
Good. Glad to have you. Let's kick off by having you just tell those who may not be familiar with Midwest Fire about what Midwest Fire is and what you guys do and the kind of apparatus that you make, and just kind of give them the background.
Okay. Midwest Fire is a small family-owned fire truck manufacturing company. We're located in Laverne, Minnesota. We've been in business for just a little bit over 30 years. Our main line is tanker pumpers, but we also manufacture pumpers, quick attacks, brush trucks. We've also done a couple small UTVs, but like I said, we're small, family-owned. We employ about 24 people, and so that's, in a nutshell, that covers what we do.
And the trucks that you sell, are you a regional provider of fire trucks, or do you deliver them all over the U.S. and Canada?
We deliver them all over the U.S. and Canada. We actually have a couple of them over in Saudi Arabia. We don't generally reach out to other countries, but it happens, and so we took advantage of it. Okay,
and I have been to your plant in Laverne. So for those who haven't, and if they wanted to visit or were not able to visit, what might they see? Describe what your facility is like, and how it's laid out, and how you guys go through the process of building the trucks. And a little bit later we might talk about the lean manufacturing, but kind of give us the kind of voyeuristic view of a person who might just do a walkthrough at Midwest Fire.
Okay, sure. We built a new facility here. I say new. It's been about 11 years, but it's still new to me. I've been with the company for 25, and we worked in several small tin buildings downtown Laverne, Minnesota. And so we built this new facility about 11 years ago. It's 33,000 square feet. It's a precast building with a metal north wall for expansion, if need be. So we have a glass front showroom, and we have several different conference rooms. So if you're in the process of purchasing a truck, you've got that nice meeting area and a place to go over your truck and discuss your details. But we're very friendly and family oriented. You certainly don't have to make a meeting or an appointment or anything like that to come to Midwest Fire. Simply walk through the front door. You'll be greeted by a receptionist. The sales staff is also out on the main floor in the showroom, which at that point in time, one of them would assist you in whatever you need, maybe a tour, maybe just some basic information. But our doors are open 24/7, but around the clock during business hours to any and everyone that wants to come and check us out.
And as far as capacity goes, about how many trucks would you have in process of being built at the various stages of the process of being built? How many would you have, on the line or in process at any given time?
Okay, depending on the severity of the truck and, whether it's a brush truck, quick attack pumper, tanker pumper, it can range anywhere from 4 to 8 or 9 out on the production floor at one time. So, like I said, just depends on the truck itself.
Yeah, so I think in general what we would characterize the Midwest Fire is kind of a boutique fire truck manufacturer. And for those who might think, well, they're small, there's a lot of advantages to being small and nimble and responsive to customers. If you only got 8 trucks on the line, every customer who's got those 8 trucks on the line intimately, in what you're building for them versus, say, a mega manufacturer that might have 4 or 5 times that amount, and they're pumping out production. You guys, as I've been there, what I saw was care and nurturing of each person's truck. Honestly, I'd say your staff treated them as if they were going to be the ones who were depending on them. So talk a little bit about the culture at Midwest Fire and how that might differentiate you from competitors.
Well, the thing is, we're not, our customers aren't just simply a number, like you said. You look at the larger manufacturers, and they just have so much going on and so many things going in and out that they don't really have the time to get to know their customers like we do. I mean, we know everyone on a first name basis. I think everyone here, like I said, it's a small company, roughly 24 people. Even the salesmen that don't sell the truck to that particular department, by the time it's all said and done, they're well acquainted with them. They know who they are. They meet them when they walk through the front door, whether it be for a final inspection or when they're first starting the project. So same thing out on the floor. The customers come, they do the tour, they get a chance to actually stop and talk to the technical staff that's out on the production floor, have that conversation, let them know what works for them and things about their truck and so we're very family oriented. We all strive for the same thing. It's just to get that product to the customer, to the end user that's going to work best for them and how they utilize their piece of equipment.
So if someone were shopping for the type of apparatus that you build, because you don't build all things for all people of every type of truck. There's a very specific type of truck and a type of customer that is the sweet spot for Midwest Fire. So if someone were shopping for the type of truck that you build, what would be some of the differentiators between you and maybe someone that would be the customer would consider a competitor of yours that they're going to be looking at both of them? Why would they want to lean toward Midwest Fire?
There's a lot of different reasons. One, for example, is everything that we do is factory direct. We don't use dealers out in the U.S., Canada, wherever it may be. So, the simple fact that when you're trying to put a truck together or you have an issue during the build process or anything like that, when you call in and talk to your salesman or the person that you're working with, I mean, it's as simple as for us to walk around the corner into the engineering department to find the answer to your question or even just to walk out on the production floor, find out where your truck's at, is it in the paint process, is it in electrical, is it in plumbing, the updates, the changes, it makes the whole process much, much easier without having dealers than it does with. So that's one of the main benefits that we have. And also being a small family-owned company, everybody is a team player here. I mean, you don't have your guys that are secluded over in plumbing or secluded in electrical. Everybody is extremely diversified. If we need to utilize someone in a different area out in production, we simply pull one guy from one area, put him into another. So that's a plus, and the detail that these guys put into trucks is absolutely phenomenal. So there's a lot of different reasons. We cater mostly to the rural departments. And our trucks, our tanker pumper line is going to be our main line. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. 15, 18 years ago, we used to manufacture 80% tanker trucks, small engine-driven portable pumps, something like that. since then, we've done a complete 360 on that. We're lucky if we see 1 or 2 tanker trucks a year. Everything is now tanker pumpers. They're large amounts of water with large pumps. And most of the rural departments are looking to replace 2 trucks with 1 truck. And that's what we cater to. It's way more cost effective, and it seems to work out great for everyone.
Okay. What are some of the things that your customers say about their Midwest Fire experience, either the process of building a truck or, in follow up after they've had one of your trucks for a while? What are some of your brand evangelists saying about their experience with Midwest Fire?
Sure. Before we get into that, just if anybody's curious and they like to jump on the website, they can certainly go to our testimonial page. Majority of the departments that we have sold units to jump on there, put a little a quote together, so to speak, and kind of let people know how their experience was and how the service and quality of Midwest Fire is. So, there again, back to not being a number, that plays a huge part. I kind of got lost on that question there all of a sudden.
That's all right. I was curious as to know what your brand evangelists say about Midwest Fire and their experience of either the process of buying a truck or their satisfaction after they've bought a truck. And I know there's the testimonial page here, but what are some of the more common themes of feedback that you get from the customers?
Okay, yeah. Ultimately, what we hear a lot from the customers is the overall experience is probably the most simplest thing that they've ever encountered when it comes to the fire industry, as far as making a truck purchase or anything of that nature. The staff, the attention that they get from them, the turnaround time that we have. I mean, we're a firm believer in it. If you jump on our website and you do a call request or create a spec or anything like that, and it pops up on our computer, we want to be instantaneous. We want to jump right on that, give you a call, find out what you need. So those are a lot of things, along with service. I mean, service is probably at the very top of our priority list. Not anyone can make the sale, but service is one of the main factors for us after the sale. You got to take care of your customers, you got to take care of your products and stand behind them. So that is one thing that we definitely do. I don't know if you guys catch any of our Facebook stuff, but you'll note I personally was in the Carolinas last week. I was there for other business, but I swung by a department. I took care of a warranty issue that they had while I was there. So that's just the kind of things that we do.
That was you with your head stuck in that compartment door that I saw on Facebook?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, I saw. You talk about service. That customer was, I don't know, 1,400, 1,500 miles away. And you ducked in to pay him a visit and took care of a warranty issue while you were there. And I didn't know it was you. I could only see the backside of your head inside that compartment fixing something. But I that really stood out to me as a brand differentiator and truly representative of the kind of passion that the employees of Midwest Fire have for the product that they put out and their passion for keeping firefighters safe. And when I saw that post, while I was impressed, I wasn't surprised, because I would think that kind of commitment is truly a standard at Midwest Fire.
Correct.
So anybody who's on the Facebook feed, if you want to jump in and ask a question of Brett or want any additional information, you can just type a question on the on the Facebook feed, and I see Scott Emmering was here and is here, and he posted the website for Midwest Fire into the comment box. So thank you, Scott, for doing that. And anybody else that would have any questions for Brett about Midwest Fire apparatus or how they build it, or any follow-up questions, just jump on the Facebook feed, and then I will ask the question for you to Brett. Now, in your last in our previous discussion there, Brett, you mentioned the create a spec. And so we don't just go past that like somebody might know what that is or what that means. Let's hit the pause button and give you a chance to explain this create a spec feature and how it works and why a customer would see the value in using that service that you have.
Okay. Basically, what the Create a Spec is, it's on our website. It is a feature that will enable firefighters to go there to put together the type of truck that they're looking for. The Create a Spec, it's not bulletproof. It's not meant to for you to fill out and it's going to spit out a spec and a price to you. That's not what it's for. Basically what it does is it initiates the conversation and it gives the salesman here at Midwest Fire a general idea of the type of truck that the department is looking for. It doesn't answer all the questions. You certainly need to have that conversation with the salesman or with the department. But in general, it will, whether it's a tanker pump or a brush truck, what size pump you're looking for, what type of chassis, it gets into the more general detail, gives us a great place to start, and puts everybody on the same page. So you can simply go on there, fill out the information. Most of them are drop-down boxes or simple check the box and submit, and it will come directly to us, and we'll be in contact shortly thereafter. Okay,
that sounds like a very convenient feature and a way to get the conversation started. A lot of departments, and maybe even some of the departments I previously served on were guilty of this, is they felt like they needed to always just have a completely customized truck with every single spec, completely customized, right down to one compartment has to be exactly this by this. And what I realize now after the fact is that massive amount of customization drives up the cost of a truck significantly. And so my question for you is two-part, is one, do you customize, and what's the advantage for someone to maybe have a little leniency in their spec and design of a truck to maybe be a little less customized, and how that might equate to them in some substantial savings?
Okay, yeah, certainly. We do customize to an extent. And the thing about it is every manufacturer builds their truck their way. And most manufacturers can give you what you're asking for. And of course, as you would say, it drives the price up. But the thing about it is, if you let us know what you're looking for and let us build it the way we build it, then it's going to be the most cost effective for you. Whether it's Midwest Fire or whether it's some other manufacturer, everybody builds their stuff. They have a certain way. Not saying that it's going to be cookie cutter or pull it off the shelf type of thing. Like I said, we definitely do customize to a certain extent, but we want to make it as cost effective as we possibly can for you and still give you the end result that you're looking for. So when in doubt, ask, and get the explanation and the detail to it. One way or the other, we should be able to figure out something that's going to work for you.
But is it fair to say that if a department is willing to accept I don't know what I might use the wrong terminology here, but an already existing fire truck design that is a truck that, say, you guys have built before versus customization, are the savings substantial to a department that might pick a stock design versus a customized design?
Oh, absolutely. There again, it depends on the severity of it, but by all means, if you utilize something that we've built in the past, less engineering time, less time to sit there and put that thing together, whether it be sales, whatever it may be, the cost savings is definitely there. I mean, we have stock units, we have demo units that we manufacture, and you can certainly make changes to those to a certain point. They're going to be way more cost effective than, of course, putting something totally different together. But there's definitely substantial savings in not trying to recreate the wheel.
Yeah, I think that's important for smaller rural departments to realize, is that if they have some flexibility, they can build a really nice fire truck on a budget that is reasonable. But the more they customize it, the more it's probably going to cost. And you guys have built a lot of really nice trucks. I've seen them over a long period of time, and for those rural departments, I mean, that is truly, as you said it, that's your sweet spot in being able to provide to them the essentials of what they need in a well-built fire apparatus without a lot of I don't know, the cliche that I would use is a lot of bells and whistles. But if they want bells and whistles on them, you'll put bells and whistles on it. But you build a very solid, practical truck that just gets the job done really well. And I think that's really part of what your differentiator is too. Now, one of the things we haven't talked about is the all poly design you have. Can you talk a little bit about that, and maybe speak to why somebody would want a truck that has a poly body? Because what they might be thinking is poly is plastic, and plastic breaks, and I don't want a truck that if we back into a mailbox that the back quarter panel is going to shatter because it's made of plastic. Talk a little bit about the poly design and from the advantages of both durability, weight, and how you differentiate with some of that design as well.
Okay. Well, for starters, Rich, they're going to need a new mailbox. I can tell you that much. So, the polypropylene for us, we incorporate the tank and the body together. So the tank, not only the tank is polypropylene, but the body is polypropylene as well. Some of the major advantages, one is both the tank and body come with a lifetime warranty from the manufacturer. Not only that, if and when you were to ever have a warranty issue on that, the warranty is going to be, the repair and the maintenance on that is going to be done at the fire department's facility. So you're not going to have to transport this thing to a local service center. You're not going to have to bring it back to the factory or anything like that. The manufacturer is going to come to you. They're going to freight their tools in. They're going to fly in. They're going to make the repairs, and everybody's going to be happy. And any cosmetic damages that may occur due to some type of warranty issue with that is going to be simply subbed out to the local body shop at the manufacturer's expense. So that's a huge plus. The other plus to the poly tank and body is the rust and corrosion factor. There simply isn't any. It doesn't rust. It doesn't corrode. Like you said, people talk about it being plastic. It's far from plastic. This stuff is tough as nails, and on the flip side, it's flexible as well. If anybody gets a chance to go to our website, you'll see some videos there that we did some testing on it, just to kind of let people know how tough it is, but yet how durable it is also. We beat it with a sledgehammer. You can't dent it. You can't put a hole in it. You can chip the paint off it. That's about as good as it's going to get. The body sides, not only the tank and the body, are 3/4 of an inch thick. Most handguns won't penetrate them.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
We've got an engineer here that thought he would play a little bit, so he took a couple pieces out, and of course he's a gun fanatic as well. So he marked and shot and marked and shot, and matter of fact, he even caught a ricochet in the belly from one of them, not realizing that it was going to bounce back. So that was a learning experience. It's tough stuff. We welded a couple pieces together, extrusion welded them in a 90-degree angle, put them in our brake press and flattened them out, and they'll fall right back into position, won't crack, won't break. We just redid a truck for a department here that rolled their complete apparatus, but it had a poly-tank and body on it. I can tell you from firsthand, from looking at it, the chassis was in 10 times worse shape than the tank and body was. And we've had other departments in car accidents as well. Very tough stuff, very durable. And the other plus side to it is, you can mount stuff right to it. It's super simple, super easy. The natural color inside the compartments is white, so it keeps everything nice and bright. There's no painted surfaces in the compartments, so you can throw your tools in there, throw your equipment in there, and you don't have to worry about scratching any coated surfaces or anything like that off. So it's just, it doesn't get any better.
Yeah, now, I think I recall seeing a video where you guys took a front end loader and you put one of these, you hoisted one of these bodies on a front end loader, and then turned the front end loader and dropped the body down to the ground. And I remember thinking to myself, this is not going to turn out well. It's being like, cut, turn the video off, turn the camera off. It turned out pretty well, didn't it?
It turned out fantastic. I mean, there was a couple minor areas where a little panel might have been bead welded in, and it may have popped loose. Since then, we have changed those areas. They're extruded together, but I mean that thing took three drops off a third tier level, and really didn't do a whole lot to it. I mean, we did some other. I don't know if you'd call it testing, but we took some chassis with nothing on them and basically ran into these things with frame rails at 20, 30 miles an hour, just kind of play around for our own self-conscious, and man, did they take a beating, and they were indestructible.
Nice. So Scott come on the Facebook and he says, don't try to shoot your apparatus with handguns at home. He says, if you do, you might want to talk with Rich about some situational awareness training. So that's our disclaimer. Don't try this at home. So
another thing regarding that, Rich, is the one of the manufacturers of the polypropylene is actually working with other companies on armored vehicles as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it
makes
sense
stuff, given the durability of the product.
Well, all your big Jardine, whatever they're called, the big wrecker trucks that you see out there, majority of those bodies are made from polypropylene as well. People don't realize it, and these things are out there on a daily basis, and those wreckers, they're getting the crap beat out of them.
Right.
But there's a reason they're built from polypropylene.
Yeah. Let's talk about the lean manufacturing process and exactly what that is, and why would your customers even care that you use something called lean manufacturing?
lean manufacturing, we started that here a few years back. And in a nutshell, what it does for the customer is it makes our process way more efficient, which in turn makes the cost of our trucks way more cost effective. So just simple things as toolboard shadowing and having tools in every area of the shop, so you don't have to spend the time to walk 30 steps away to get the piece of equipment that you need and stuff like that. It's unbelievable. You can't imagine with the lean process the amount of time that you can shave off the overall hours of an apparatus build. I take our stock trucks that we constantly have in production because we like to keep a couple of them on the showroom floor at all times. In the last 3 years, we have literally shaved 120 hours off of those builds by utilizing the lean process. And like I said, each little thing that we do is just it's small, it's minute, but by the time you compile all those together, it makes a 9-day difference.
So the lean equates to efficiency, which then equates to savings. Is that the way to sum
Correct.
that up? Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
I noticed when I was there on my last visit, and it's been a few years ago, so I don't know if you guys still do this or not. So I don't want to get too much into the detail of it if you've shifted away from it. But I remember seeing a very large board with a whole bunch of, as my memory is, like Post-it notes of just ideas that are submitted by your team about how to improve a process or how to be more efficient or how to address a safety concern. Is that something you guys still do?
It is. It's something that we do on a daily basis. It's called the We Mad process. It's called We Make a Difference. So ultimately, it's just small things that we try to make it so it's small things that you can improve on yourself. But a lot of times it ends up being certain things for certain departments and stuff like that. But it's just little things like I'm trying to give you a good example here, but it's things. It almost the WeMad process and the lean process kind of fall together a little bit. It's things like having to walk halfway across the shop to get a tool. Well, somebody fills out their WeMad form and says, hey, it takes 35 seconds for you to walk across the shop, 35 seconds to walk back, versus this tool that costs $25, So we need to get another one, put it in this area, eliminate that process time of walking back and forth. It's called wasted time on the form. They fill it out. They get to incorporate it themselves, sign the form off. And then what we do is we kind of reward the employees for these WeMads. We have what's called Midwest Fire Bucks. They're distributed on a weekly basis. So if you fill out a WeMad form and you complete it yourself, all by yourself, it's worth 20 WeMad or 20 Midwest Fire Bucks. So with that, we have different things. We have gift cards. We have apparel. All kinds of different stuff that you can spend that money on. So I mean, it's essentially free money. So, but everybody contributes. Everybody puts in different things, and man, I'm telling you, we strive for 20 a month. So that's almost each individual here just doing one a month, and it includes the office people as well, management, leadership team. It's for everyone. So.
Nice. Well, I just recently did a podcast with one of your very happy customers, and didn't even know they were one of your customers until near the end of the podcast that we were doing a near miss discussion with Fire Chief Rory Payment from Clearview Fire and Rescue in Canada. And he was talking about this incident and the apparatus they had on the scene and what they were doing. And near the end of the show, I gave a little shout out to Midwest Fire, and he said, "Oh, by the way, I should mention that 3 of our tankers on the scene of this incident where we had this near miss were Midwest Fire apparatus. So if they've bought 3 Midwest Fire apparatus, you can probably count on the fact that they're happy customers in Clearview, and because if you're not happy, you don't keep buying from the same dealer. But Rory had some nice things to say about Midwest Fire and their experience with you. You guys sell direct. You said you're I forget the term you said, direct manufacturing or something like that, which essentially means you don't have a dealer network. Now, some might say, well, not having a dealer network is a disadvantage, because if I have a dealer in Florida and Midwest Fire is in Minnesota, then I've got somebody local that I can, deal with instead of dealing with somebody who's in Minnesota. So what would be the advantage to a factory direct buyer versus, say, a manufacturer that has a large dealer network?
Well, right off, the dealer is exactly what he is. He's a dealer. So when you're going through the process, let's just take, for example, that you haven't purchased a truck yet. You're working with this dealer. You're in the process of putting specs together, putting a truck together. And you call this dealer up and you say, "Hey, John, I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to make this change, that change." Ultimately, the answer you're probably going to get from him is, "Okay, let me call the manufacturer and I'll get back to you." It may be a week, it may be 2, it may be a month. We're here when you call us at Midwest Fire. We are the manufacturer. The answers to our questions are, like I said, are simply around the corner or out in the production shop or into the engineering team. So that's one great advantage right there is that portion of it. The other portion is, dealers don't work for free. They're a middleman. They've got to get paid as well as anyone else does. So, therefore that drives the cost of your truck up. So you're going to pay more for your truck through a dealer than you will be factory direct through Midwest Fire. So that's another advantage as well. And then you come to the service and the warranty portion of it. There are a lot of dealers out there that have service centers, but there's also a lot of dealers that don't. And when it comes time to that service and things like that, they're playing the middleman. They have to go back. They have to try to find a service center, do this, do that. With us, it's factory direct. If you're trying to troubleshoot an issue or anything like that, I'm going to walk out into the shop with my headset on. I'm going to grab the technician and we're going to beat this problem up together. And if we can't, then we'll grab a local service center and work with them together to figure out the issue. And at a last resort, if we need to, we'll send one of our own technicians there. So
nice. Do you have anything in stock right now? If somebody's watching this and like, hey, I wanna buy my husband a fire truck for Christmas. and they're out shopping. No, if a department is, say, nearing the end of their budget year and they might want to get a stock truck purchased, what do you have out there now that's either available or soon to be coming off the line that would be that somebody could just buy?
Okay. Generally, currently we have a stock brush truck. that's available for immediate delivery. We have a 3,000-gallon tanker pumper, and then we also have another 2,000 and 3,000 in production. Ultimately, if we don't have one available for immediate delivery, you're talking a month, 2 at most. There's going to be another one coming. We put these in our build slots, and we keep them, try to keep them on a steady basis, because we build them, they sell. We build them, they sell. They're pretty constant. There's always fire departments that whether they have a catastrophic failure with one of their trucks and they need one tomorrow. We like to be that person. We like to make sure that we have one on hand at all times. So if we don't, it's just right around the corner.
Okay. If somebody were to build one from scratch, and they make the purchase, they're going to build a truck from scratch, and I know there's some variation in the answer you're going to give me, but how long does it take from the time they sign some paperwork until they come to Midwest Fire and drive their new truck home?
If I was to just give you an average and throw them all into a lump, you're right at that 7-month mark. Obviously, if you're looking at a small brush truck or quick attack or something like that, we could probably shave a little time off that. If you've got more of a complex pumper truck or tanker pumper, you might add a few weeks to that. So, but give or take, our rule of thumb is we want to stick around that 7-month mark. It gives us a little bit of a competitive advantage. Customers love it. I mean, there's not a fire department out there that wouldn't want their truck tomorrow if they were buying it today.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I'm sure. And as time goes on, you get more and more anxious to have your truck done. But it's, you can't rush it. You just have to be patient. It's a process to build a high quality apparatus, and you don't want to rush. And they wouldn't want you rushing to completion just because they want it. It has to be done right, and you guys are going to take the time to do it right, and that can take 7 months to build somebody a high quality truck and to build it right for them. So I think it's important that they realize that it takes time to do it well. There's an old saying, like you can have it fast, you can have it high quality, fast delivery, or inexpensive, and you can only choose 2 of those 3 or something like that. So a lot of truth in a statement like that. Brett, is there anything that you would want to share with our listeners and viewers that you haven't been able to share because I didn't ask you the right question, that you'd like, wow, I really wish we would have talked about this or that? Is there anything as we're wrapping up that you could think of that you might want to share that you haven't had the chance to?
Well, I'm not the type of person that I don't knock at any other manufacturers. There's a ton of them out there that build high quality, fantastic apparatus, stuff like that. The thing that I really like to reiterate and tell customers is take the time to read the fine print, really look at the manufacturer, look at the quality of the apparatus and the piece of equipment that you're putting together, and the fit and finish to that particular manufacturer. Like I said, I don't beat anybody down, but our fit and finish and our quality and the precision and the heart that these guys put into the things that they do is over and above what a lot of other manufacturers are. So they just need to really take the time and do their homework and really look at what's going on.
Good advice. Brett, thank you for spending some time with me. This is an interview that's been long overdue, with Midwest Fire being a sponsor and a supporter of the situational awareness mission for as long as they have, to have you on as a guest and to give you a chance. And I know you're a humble person, and it's hard to kind of brag up just how good the product is at Midwest Fire. So I'll brag up for you, as I often do as I'm out traveling about. You guys build an amazing truck. You got an amazing culture, beautiful facility, just spotlessly clean, as you said with the lean manufacturing. Everything has its place. And when I was there touring, everybody was just so nice, from Sarah Atchison, the president, all the way down. Just top-notch people with a good heart, driven on a mission to make sure that firefighters stay safe. So if they want to check you guys out, I know Scott put the link in the Facebook, but for those on the podcast or on the YouTube channel, what's the best way to get connected with Midwest Fire?
You can certainly go to the website. That's very simple and easy. We have the call request. We have all of our contact information. All of our salespeople are on there, emails, or you can simply just give us a call. There again, the phone numbers are there. We'd be happy to help you out in any way that we can. Okay. And for those who might want to know, it's Midwest Fire, real easy, all together, one word, midwestfire.com. And reach out to them. I mean, it will cost you nothing to have a conversation and to be impressed with how customer focused they are and how committed they are to making sure that they get it right for you, and that you're going to have a truck that's going to be reliable and that you're going to be proud of. So, Brett, thanks for being with me today.
Thank you again to Midwest Fire Vice President and General Manager Brent Jensen for giving us the inside view of this amazing fire apparatus builder. I launched the Situational Awareness Matters show back in 2014 with a purpose: to give a platform to those who've had near-miss events to share their stories. When I'm on the road delivering situational awareness classes, I often ask attendees about their near-miss events, and they have shared with me some absolutely amazing stories. Their stories motivated me to launch this podcast, so those lessons could be shared with a bigger audience, you. The Situational Awareness Matters show, podcasted as SAMatters Radio, and our companion video program, SAMatters TV, on YouTube, along with other audio and video uploads, have enjoyed more than 1 million views and listens. I'm so honored to be able to provide a platform for these incredible lessons to be shared. If you like our show, please consider doing me a solid favor. Please subscribe. For the audio version, search for SAMatters Radio on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, or iHeartRadio. If you prefer to watch the show on video, subscribe to SAMatters TV on YouTube. And if you find value in the show, I would really appreciate it if you would give the show a rating and write a review. Your ratings and reviews help others to find the show, but more importantly, your feedback inspires me to want to work even harder for you. Since 2007, our instructional team and consultants have helped more than 1,300 organizations and have trained over 86,000 individuals to improve high-risk decision-making. This includes first responders, industrial workers, military personnel, business leaders, medical professionals, utility workers, highway workers, public transportation operators, aviation workers, oil refinery process operators, biotech workers, and more. If someone you know works in a high-risk, high-consequence, decision-making environment, we're here to help to improve their safety and to help them accomplish the most important mission of all, and that is to go home from work whole and healthy every day to the ones who love them. I'd like to take a moment to honor and thank the companies, organizations, agencies, and departments that have hosted recent situational awareness training for their team members. The County of Grand Prairie Fire Services in Alberta, Canada. The Florida Fire Chiefs Association Safety Conference. ExxonMobil North American Operations. Sandoval County Fire and Rescue in Albuquerque, New Mexico. If you're interested in attending an upcoming program, here's where we're going to be after the new year. On January 8th, I'll be doing another consulting project for one of the world's largest producers of rolled aluminum product, and this will be in New York. January 11th at the Lincoln County Fire Chiefs Association in Denver, North Carolina. January 30th at the Evans Fire Department in Evans, Colorado. February 5th at the Miami Valley Fire and Rescue Conference in Dayton, Ohio. February 7th and 8th at the South Carolina Fire Chiefs Association Conference in Columbia, South Carolina. February 24th through 27th at the Firehouse World Conference in Las Vegas, Nevada. If you want to see all the locations of all the upcoming events, just head over to our website, SAMatters.com, and click on the red tab that's about halfway down the homepage that's labeled Upcoming Events Schedule. If you're interested in talking with us about conducting a situational awareness assessment for your company, or if you're interested in hosting a training program, just click on the Contact Us tab on the top of the homepage, and I'll give you a call. If you want to become part of our community of learners, there are several ways you can do that. Check our show notes for how to get connected with us by signing up for our free monthly newsletter, by subscribing to the SAMatters radio podcast, by subscribing to the SAMatters TV YouTube channel, and learn how to follow us on the social media channels of Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. There we're sharing ideas about how to improve situational awareness, how to make better decisions under stress, and how to improve the skills of critical thinking and resilient problem solving. Well, that's it. Episode 299 of the Situational Awareness Matters show is complete. Thank you to my guest, Brett Jensen from Midwest Fire, our platinum sponsor. Thank you to our feature segment sponsor, SimsUShare, and thank you to our associate sponsor, Chief Miller. Thank you to all the companies, agencies, and organizations and associations that have hosted Situational Awareness Matters training programs. Thank you to all the organizations that have hosted live stream training programs where I come to your organization live via the internet to train your members. Thank you to the more than 3,500 students and graduates of the highly acclaimed Situational Awareness Matters Online Academy. The feedback I've received from Academy graduates is just amazing and humbling, and I thank you for that. And most importantly, thank you, the listeners and viewers of this show, for sharing some of your valuable time with me today. I really appreciate your support of the SAMatters mission. Be safe out there, and may the peace of the Lord and strong situational awareness be with you always.
You've been listening to the Situational Awareness Matters radio show with Dr. Richard B. Gassaway. If you are interested in learning more about situational awareness, human factors, and decision-making under stress, visit SAMatters.com. If you are interested in booking Dr. Gassaway for an upcoming event, visit his personal website at richgassaway.com.